So I think Michigan's role is going to be leading this industry, but only if we stop the stupid policies of Kamala Harris and get Donald Trump back in the White House. Next question.
Senator Vance, Senator Vance, this is Peter Cobes from the Traverse City Record Eagle, our hometown newspaper. Yay and boo.
That's all right.
That's okay. We're used to it.
We're having fun. You're allowed to ask your question. They're allowed to tell you how they think about it, right?
So
that's okay. This is America.
We have
a
a very serious shortage of affordable housing in this area.
Yes, we do.
Not just Grand Traverse County, but all over northern Michigan. Families with their kids can't stay here because they can't afford to buy a house. We can't get service workers up here because the rental is too expensive. Homes that 10 years ago cost $100,000 are selling for $800,000. What can those people do now to address this problem, and how will you help them?
Yeah. Well, let me look there. Let me just say, one, I appreciate and I agree with the basic premise of the question, which is housing is way too expensive in this area and all over the country. And this is something that has really changed from even when I was a little kid. And look, I did not grow up in a family with a lot of money. I think a lot of you know that. A lot of you have heard my story. But look, a lot of American middle class and working class people could afford to buy a home. I remember my family actually said something to me very recently, and it was really sad. It kind of hit me how just unbelievably sad it is for American young people. You know, she was talking about buying a home herself, and she said, isn't it kind of crazy that when our parents were young, they could just go and work a job and raise a family and afford to buy a home? And I thought to myself, what a terrible job we're doing for our young people, that they feel like they cannot access the American dream of homeownership. But look, the answer is most immediately, it goes back to the border. And why does it go back to the border? Because every economist and every person with an ounce of common sense will tell you that if you bring in millions upon millions of people who are competing with Americans for scarce homes, it's going to shoot the price of housing through the roof. So the first thing that you've got to do to make it more affordable to buy a home in this country is to get people who shouldn't be here out of the country in the first place. And that'll create a lot of space. Now, look, to be clear, that is not the whole solution to the problem, because you've also got to build a lot of houses. And we, unfortunately, have made it so hard on construction workers and construction businesses to build housing in the United States of America. When we talk about regulations, I think a lot of people say, well, what do you really mean about regulations? Well, here are the two things that I'm really focused on when I criticize the regulatory regime of Kamala Harris. It's number one, they're shutting down pipelines, they're shutting down oil fields, they're shutting down natural gas rigs, they're shutting down the American energy sector. That's a disaster. You got to stop the regulations there. And by the way, that will also lower the cost of housing, because one of the reasons housing's so expensive is because the energy to build the homes has gotten so expensive thanks to Kamala Harris. But the second thing you got to do is stop making it so hard to build things. But look, think about this country. Think about the history of the United States of America. You think about, what is it that really sets us apart? We are frontiersmen. We tamed the wilderness over hundreds of years and built incredible skyscrapers and great, beautiful buildings. We are a country of builders and of makers, and Kamala Harris is trying to throw you in jail if you build without her permission. It's a joke. And we've just got to get back to making it easier for people to build things in this country that'll drive down the cost of housing and make American homeownership affordable again for Michigan.